Welcome, everybody, to the Nine Sports Podcast, College Basketball Edition. Be sure to like, subscribe, and download everywhere you get your podcasts, from YouTube to Apple Music to Spotify. You'll be able to listen to our show each and every Monday, as well as all of our weekly shows within the podcast network. I am Michael Waterloo, your co-host, joined as always by Melissa Treebwasser. And Melissa, this week we're going to have a special guest, a friend of ours, a friend of the program, not a coach, not a player, but an analyst, one of the best writers that I know in the country, and that is Sabreena Merchant from The Athletic.
Yeah, Sabreena was awesome. It was so good to talk to her. She went deep into UCLA, but we didn't let her off the hook and just let her answer questions for the team. She covers directly. We talked a lot of big picture women's college basketball. We talked a little bit of WNBA as well. And really, it was so fascinating to hear from her how this championship winner team can replace 6 legit pros in the WNBA and still think they have a chance to be great in a loaded Big Ten.
A lot of it comes down to Sienna Betts, as Sabreena talks about, as well as her early picks for the top 4 in the conference and her first team All-American very early here in August. Without further ado, we're going to toss it over to The Athletic's Sabreena Merchant. And joining us now is one of the best women's basketball reporters in the entire country, a graduate of Duke University who covers women's basketball for The Athletic. Welcome to the show, Sabreena Merchant. How you doing?
Thank you for having me and for the kind intro.
Yeah, absolutely. I know it is a busy time. We are catching up with you the week after WNBA All-Star time. You host a podcast that is aptly named No Off Season because, well, when you cover women's sports, you know there's no off season from college basketball to WNBA to Unrivaled. So I have to know, Sabreena, when do you actually take some downtime?
It's a great question. When do I actually take downtime? Like the minor gaps between the WNBA draft and the start of the season, or the end of the finals and the start of the college season. I mean, I always take the holidays off. Thankfully, the college calendar doesn't have a ton going on late December, so that's always
so
good time to take off.
9 days.
9 days.
Yeah. Yeah, it's totally normal.
I usually try to take off after All-Star, but this year the trade deadline, snuck in right there too. So
yes.
We're just making do as we go along.
Have some excitement there with the trade deadline. Your season got extended a little bit too this past year because the Bruins, who you spent a lot of time covering, made it to the national championship and won the national championship. All 6 of those seniors matriculated onto the WNBA and are playing roles on their teams. This team is going to look a lot different this fall, obviously. When did Corey and company start getting back to work after they won the title to make sure you had no off season?
Yeah, I think the title game ended around like 2:30 Pacific, so maybe like 2:45. Just like right at the portal, ready to go. No. I mean, the Bruins have been very good in the portal the last few years, and they knew exactly what they were dealing with, right? Like they started the season with a team that they knew had no real extra years of eligibility, and although Tamia Gardner ended up sneaking one out of there, but I mean, this was always the plan to have to rebuild and reload just incredibly quickly. And as we're going to talk about, I think they did a pretty decent job. So the work was done in short order. Yeah.
And one of those players that you're mentioning in the portal is Donovan Hunter. She's a friend of the show. She was one of our first guests on here. One of the players that the Bruins are going to look to kind of fill that key role on both sides of the ball. We know what Donna can do on the defensive side of the ball, but is there another step that she's able to take offensively, do you think?
Yeah, I do wonder how exactly they're going to use her, because they have a lot of offensive-minded point guards on this team too. Alina Arnsalo coming back, one of those boomerang transfers, joining UCLA again after her freshman year. They've got Bonnie Dees, who came over from the SEC, and then one of their international recruits, Lena Jerkovic from Slovenia, is also a point guard. So I think they have a lot of offensive point guard talent. I mean, we haven't even talked about Addie Brown, who basically functions as a point guard a lot of the time too. Right. So I think they will lean more into Dono as that defensive anchor on the perimeter and sort of like a secondary presence offensively. I imagine she's going to start next to Arnisalo. But yeah, I don't know exactly what they're hoping to unlock from her offensively that TCU didn't or Oregon State didn't. But I will say that there is just a lot of ball handling on this team already. So I'm not sure that they're going to force her into being pure, got to run the show every possession kind of point guard. I don't think that's what anybody was looking for when she arrived at UCLA, but also the Bruins have done a very good job of expanding people's skill sets before they head into the pros, right? Gianna Neepkins comes from Utah, and all of a sudden she's functioning in the mid-range a lot more than she did in the Lynn Roberts Utah system. And, you know, Charlize Ledger-Walker comes from Washington State, and they expanded her role defensively a lot and turned her into someone who's like a starting point guard in the WNBA right now, albeit on a, rebuilding team, but still starting point guard. Nothing, nothing to look over. So, yeah, I think I would expect them to try to expand, some of like Dono's like pick and roll, capacity here, but I still think the majority of the ball handling is going to land on some of those other players.
That's so interesting to me is that, I cover TCU. Donovan is absolutely one of my favorite people I've gotten to cover there in Fort Worth. And, to me, the thought of her leaving was to take on more of a playmaker role, have an opportunity to do that. So it'll be interesting to see if she does get to expand her game, if there's something Corey can unlock that Mark couldn't, and how she functions in that new look UCLA offense compared to where she has been with both TCU and Oregon State. But you mentioned Addie Brown, and I am if I could have picked one player to get out of the portal for TCU, she was number one on my list by a mile.
Mm-hmm.
She does so many things well. She's kind of a stretch four, but like you said, she can really play make from that position. She does the dirty work on defense, and just a great team player. She was part of that mass exodus at Iowa State. Where do you see her fitting? Is she a number one option on this team? Is she going to continue to be kind of that glue player? Where does UCLA need her to be? And how does she fit what they want to do?
Yeah, it's funny. I'm pretty sure Addie Brown was like the number one target for everyone out of the portal once that Iowa State exodus happened.
She's just the best, man. I love her game so much.
Just the ability to do a little bit of everything. She rebounds the ball so well. That high-low combination that she had with Audie Crooks at Iowa State was so fun to watch. Really capable shooter, passer, like does a little bit of everything. I actually thought Donovan Hunter was going to be UCLA's number one target just with the Pac-12 of it all, and the fact that she played with Tamia Gardner at Oregon State and played with, like Amanda Muse and like Cal Star's AAU team when they were in California. Like they just started posting all these pictures of like Gabrielle Hawkes and Amanda Muse of like their old AAU days, and there was Donovan Hunter just in all of them, and I'm like, she's making her way. She's making her way. But yeah, as far as Addie, I think she is going to be like a focal point here. I would imagine Sienna Betts is going to be like the focal point in a sense that Lauren was a year ago. A lot of things are going to run through her in the post and what she can do in terms of passing the ball out of doubles and, just anchoring there, although she is a lot more capable from the perimeter at this stage of her career than Lauren was. So I think that combination between Addie and Sienna is going to be the fulcrum of a lot of what UCLA is trying to do. I think you're going to see Addie bringing up the ball a lot. I think you're going to see her setting up the offense a lot, getting Sienna involved, whether that's, in like high-low situations or just even setting up Sienna on the perimeter. But like this roster didn't make a ton of sense to me until Addie Brown got involved. And now there's that connector piece between all of these point guards, but like smaller guards that they have and all of this front court talent that they have. Addie just sort of like meets everything in the middle, which I think obviously she did at Iowa State. So yeah, I think they're going to be asking a lot of her. They do have some interesting wing depth, with like Lana Bilic returning from the title team. KK Bransford played a lot of the forward at Notre Dame. I'm fascinated to see how she fits into all of this because like she could have had a very big role at Notre Dame and chose to come to a UCLA team where there's going to be some competition for minutes. So yeah, I think Addie is like, if not the second most important player, like then the most important player on this UCLA team for this coming season, because she is just so incredibly versatile in everything that she can do. Like I didn't even talk about her defensively. Like she's a pretty solid defender on the wing too. So yeah, I think they're going to be asking a lot of her. And just based on what she was able to do for the Cyclones these last 3 years, I'm sure she's looking forward to doing all that and then actually getting to play a little bit potentially deeper in the tournament than they did, in her first 3 years there.
I'm looking forward to seeing KK Bransford. I'm glad you brought her up. I mean, just terrible injury luck with Notre Dame, but it feels like an under the radar move by Corey Close there. And somebody else who maybe was under the radar a little bit just because she was living in her sister's 6'7" shadow is Sienna Betts. UCLA, we saw last year, brought her along slowly, but we saw those flashes where we're like, okay, this isn't just a Nepo hire, if you will, because her sister's Lauren Betts. Like this is one of the best players. Just how good can she be? Especially you're talking about like we're already seeing that mid-range game and that potential that she has.
Yeah, I mean, she comes into UCLA as one of the top 2 recruits in the country in her freshman class, already basically I don't think officially committed to go there when Lauren had decided to go there, but like that was her dream to be a part of UCLA. And there was a funny back and forth between the sisters about like Lauren stealing Sienna's thunder by wanting to go to UCLA and having to like convince Sienna first that it was okay if she came there. So good that they had like the 1 year of playing together, and now Sienna gets to experience UCLA as like the program looking to her, right, to be like their focal point. I think because of the Betts name, people are going to expect her to be a lot of like a low post, back to the basket kind of player, and that's just not what I wouldn't say that's not what she does, but like it's not all of what she does. She's so much more comfortable spotting up from the mid range, as you mentioned. They even let her take threes last year, which is like something that Lauren never did in her UCLA tenure. Not that I don't think they allowed her to; it's just something she wasn't comfortable with. Whereas Sienna like gets into the game, trail three, spotting up, like pointing at Corey Close on the bench, like, yeah, I can do that. I can take these shots. So I think they plan to use Sienna like as a bit more variety than they did with Lauren. You know, it's not just going to be like get down, seal, you know, we'll get the ball and do in the post. And then if there's single coverage, you score. If not, like we'll work from there. I think they're going to put her in a lot of different spots on the elbow, whether that's facing up, you know, maybe even at the top of the key and letting her leverage some of her just passing skills in terms of all the other offensive talent that UCLA has. But like really the success of this UCLA team kind of depends on her being more of a defensive like comparison to what Lauren was, because that was so much of how the Bruins had success, was because you could trust Lauren to just take care of everything that came into the paint, right? And that was such a luxury to have for the last 3 seasons that it allowed like Kiki Rice and Charlie Sledger-Walker and Gabriella Hackett to be more aggressive on the perimeter, knowing that you had this backstop. And Sienna, not quite there yet. You know, like as a freshman, the defense obviously took a hit when Lauren came off the floor, and it was her, Angela Duglic, you know, manning the paint. So I think that's like the number one growth area for her right now, is to see what she can do as that defensive anchor, because that is still the role that she really has to fill in, like kind of not exactly what Lauren was doing, but like resembling what Lauren was doing. Whereas on offense, I think they can afford to be a little bit more creative in how they use her.
Seeing the back and forth of the Betts siblings is the greatest, even with Dylan posting how he got the offer from USC and Lauren's like, no, absolutely not. So it's just funny seeing all the back and forth between them.
Yeah. The Betts siblings are the next Mabry's, I think. I can see that.
Oh, totally.
The TikTok,
I love that.
The TikTok ability is also pretty high between both of those families. You've talked about a lot of these players. You spent time around this team, obviously, and so many of these players that it's hard to keep good role players for years and years. And one of those players that was a good soldier, so to speak, last season was Tamia Gardner, who you talked about earlier. Do you see her having a bigger role on this team? And will she get an opportunity to take more, to be a bigger option for them on both ends of the floor?
Yeah, so I'm not entirely sure who the Bruins are going to start, right? They're still in like the preseason phase. They just took their trip to Canada, figuring out like what they have with everyone. My guess would be that Gardner starts next to Sienna Betts in the front court, and then you've got Addie at the 3. And it was like just such a bummer for her that she had to sit and watch the title run last year. Like, I wonder if the 5-for-5 rule had been in effect, if she could have just played the last 10 games and, you know, anyway, other things to focus on. But yeah, she was just such a good, when she came in 2024, right? The years are screwing with me. She just sort of contributed to this idea of UCLA as being this fantastically huge team, but very skilled. Like her coming off the bench, being 6'4", but being able to handle the ball and just like shoot it lights out from beyond the arc. I think she shot around 40% her first year with UCLA from 3-point range. That's just such an awesome compliment to have, you know, when you have post presence like Sienna, when you have other players who are trying to get to the rim and you're, you know, just creating space for them. I think they will give her a bigger offensive role, just because, like, think about all the talent that was lost on this team. And you don't want to, like, overwhelm Sienna right away, I think, with all of that responsibility of having to be number one option on offense and defense. So I think the idea of, like, her and Addie Brown doing a little bit more ball handling, obviously spreading the floor with their 3-point shooting range, there's a lot of possibility for Gardner to be, like, I don't know, like 14-point scorer on this team, sort of, I wouldn't say similar to what she was doing at Oregon State, because that was obviously a very different offensive system that they were running. But yeah, I think there's a lot of potential for like pace and tempo, and Gardner plays like very well, just making quick decisions. So I'd like to see what she can do, like ball handling, shot creation wise, that like wasn't really allowed from her because of, I don't know, all of the other talent that was on the team when she was on UCLA, or when she played for UCLA like last year. So I think the shooting is going to make her just like indispensable. Like you can't really keep her off the court if she can get to be like a slightly better defender than she was her first season at UCLA, because you could tell like Corey Close definitely trusted Dugalich more in those situations. Like they got a little bit more defensively out of Janiyah Barker, even in those situations. So if she can be a little bit more solid in that role, then like that's going to earn her a lot of minutes to expand what she's capable of offensively.
It's a very interesting UCLA team, as we mentioned. Obviously everybody knows about the Big Six or in the WNBA. So Melissa and I were just putting together our top 16s, our very early top 16s, blind ranking for each other. We didn't know we revealed them on the show.
It was a fun listen.
Thank you. Appreciate that. I had UCLA 12th. Melissa had them 15th. Mm-hmm. Is that the range that you'd put them in, Sabreena, or do we have them a little too high, too low?
No, I actually had them at 12 too in my post-portal rankings. I was listening along with yours. I think the only team where I was like significantly off was Minnesota. I'm not sure if they came up in your top 16, and I had them a little bit higher. But yeah, UCLA right in my top 12. They're number 12 for me. And mostly it's just like there's just no continuity, right? Like, yeah, Alina Arnisalo and Tamia Gardner played together 2 years ago for UCLA on a very different roster.
So weird.
So weird, right? Actually, they played more minutes together than Arnisalo did with any other UCLA teammate. So that's interesting. But yeah, just like no continuity whatsoever. Their top 6 are gone. Obviously, a lot of faith in what Corey Close can build. Coaching staff mostly remains, although Tasha Brown is out and they brought in, their old assistant, Shannon LaBeouf, back from Rutgers. But like, there's just so many different pieces to put together, which is why I'm a little, I'm not like wary. Like a top 12 team is still really good, like puts you in position to host, right? And like be in position to contend at the top of the Big Ten. But yeah, like relying on Sienna as a sophomore, to be that hub is obviously different than relying on seniors and like very old seniors in the case of like Ledger Walker and Angela Dugalich. And, a younger guard group, with like the Djurkovic and Arnisalo. I think there's just some questions. Like I believe that 12 honestly is going to look a little low by the end of the season, but like I can't find myself putting them any higher right now.
Yeah, it kind of seems like a floor pick, kind of like I was saying on it about Louisville. Like they're probably going to be better than that, but they just feel like a safe team to put there. Same with Ohio State. Like it'll look a little different, but I just felt like that was the safe spot to put it because you're banking a lot on Corey Close and just what she's able to do.
Totally. And I mean, like the Big Ten is going to be very fun too. Just like, I think Washington's going to be really good. Michigan, obviously, everyone's got them in their top 4. There was some conversation about Iowa. I think Iowa's going to win a lot of Big Ten games too. USC is going to win a lot of Big Ten games. So like, even if they're like a top 5 Big Ten team, I think that's still a very good team. But yeah, the non-conference, like they're going to have to pick up some wins because I think the Big Ten is going to be a bit of a bloodbath in terms of picking up wins there.
Oh, it's going to be a massive bloodbath. And like, look, I just have to protect my reputation as Iowa's #1 hater. Like that, I know they're going to be good. And if I end up being the bulletin board material for Chit Chat Riot, you know what? I'm willing to take that sacrifice. When Corey Close finally got over the hump and won that national championship, it reminded me, I'm a NorCal kid, so it reminded me a lot of like Steve Young when he finally broke through and won the Super Bowl, and he was on the sideline, and I can't remember who it might have been Terrell Owens or whoever it was, like, oh, get the monkey off my back, and for Corey, it kind of felt like she's been so close and been so well respected, but for her to get to the final podium earned her maybe more of the national spotlight that she's been deserving for so long. But now she's got to start over. And in so many ways, she's basically starting over from scratch, like you said, with the roster. And so I'm interested what you think she's looking at this. Like, is the pressure now gone? Is the pressure to retain and remain? Is her competitive spirit thinking we can't take a step back, even though logically I sent 6 players to the WNBA and I should take a step back?
Yeah. There is definitely a lightness to Corey this summer that was very much not there the last couple of summers. And totally, right? Like you get the championship glow. Not only that, like you said, you send 6 of your players to the WNBA and they're all like playing roles, which is like, pretty wild, right? I think it was so big for UCLA, not only this past year, but like the year before, to win a Big Ten tournament title, which they hadn't done a conference tournament in like at least a decade, and to get to the Final Four, which hadn't been accomplished in the NCAA era. So like, they got the stepping stool, up until where they wanted to be. And I think that has lifted like quite a weight off of her shoulders. Like she understands we're not coming into this with all of the expectations on our backs. And also like, I don't think she feels the same pressure to the group. Not that she doesn't want the Bruins to succeed, but like you could talk to her every day last season. It was like, yeah, I realize that this is it for Kiki and Gabriella and Lauren and all of that they have given our program. And we want to send them out on the best note possible. And like, it's just a little bit different this year, right? Because Sienna's younger, and all the other transfers who come in, maybe that they are seniors and this is their last year of eligibility, they're not 4-year Bruins or 6-year Bruins or 5-year Bruins, like they just have a different relationship to the school. And I think there was a real weight last year of like, we owe this class to, win for them in the same way that they have built us up. And now, yeah, like we're still maintaining the level of the program, and we still want to be a destination where you can go into the portal and get a Donovan Hunter and an Addie Brown and like be that caliber of school. But also, like, I don't think anyone outwardly is expecting UCLA to be the best team in the country. And UCLA would never say that internally, that they're not expecting, but like they understand that they have a little bit of a runway now, right? Like they've done the thing, and now they get to like breathe and enjoy. And like, I think that'll last for all of like 2 seconds before the season starts. Yeah. But I don't think that there's the same pressure, not because like she's done it, but also just because like the group of players that they have doesn't demand it in the same way that like those 6 seniors did.
Speaking of enjoyment, whenever that schedule drops, how quickly are you circling the UCLA USC game and saying, hey, Shannon Ryan, send me here to cover this. I have to go there. That has to be toward the top of the must cover games, right?
Well, I live in LA, so it's not like I get to be sent anywhere. I'm just, heading out to downtown or Westwood, regardless of, which location that is. I got to be honest, with all of the WNBA stuff happening, I have not looked at the conference schedule yet. So it's happening, I assume, sometime in February, sometime in March, maybe a January game. I don't know. Sometimes these things get stuck during winter break. But yeah, I will be there. I'll take a look at the schedule probably once this WNBA trade deadline is over and we get a chance to focus on other things.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be, like you mentioned, a ton of games in the Big Ten to circle. Like, we're big fans of Washington. You talked about Washington. Obviously, Ohio State still has one of the best players in the country.
Didn't even mention them, yeah.
Yeah, like, they're going to be really, really good. Minnesota with their run last year, Michigan. I mean, it's going to be an absolutely wild season. We're not going to make you make a Big Ten championship prediction today, but I
can make one if you want.
Oh, well, in that sense, okay. Can you get, like, who's your top 4? Like, which teams, I don't even care if you put them in order, but which 4 teams do you think are finishing at the top of the conference?
I would say USC, Michigan, top 4.
No,
I'm going to go Washington.
Put your Oregon jersey away, Michael. That's...
I'm going to go Washington, actually. I'm very excited for this Tilda Trieger addition to the Huskies. Yes. And then we'll say Iowa. Yeah.
Oh God! So you're really trying to put me out there, make it be.
I really have to look at like because I think everybody plays each other once now, right? So I got to look at the home and away splits to see which ones are more likely to pick up wins there.
Are there no protected like home and homes in the Big Ten?
I think the only home and homes are like I think USC and UCLA play like Washington and Oregon twice.
Okay.
So there's like 3 teams that have home and homes, but beyond that, it's just
Big 12 is.
Yeah.
So it's really going to depend on how the matrix shakes out. It's I mean, it's going to be an absolute bloodbath, like you said, in that conference, but it's going to be a lot of fun too. We do want to ask you, that was a bonus question that we didn't have, but we did want to ask a little bit about your All-American, your big picture for college basketball. Who would be your early picks for first team All-Americans going into the preseason here?
I kind of feel like this is a boring list, but we're going to go with it anyway. I've got Sarah Strong, Madison Booker, Hannah Hidalgo, JuJu Watkins, and Michaela Blakes.
Yeah.
It's a boring list, there. But like, it's a good list, I think.
It's a fantastic list, but I guess, Sabreena, we'll get a little, we'll pivot from that a little bit. If you had to pick one of those players not to make it, which one is the most likely not to be a first team All-American?
I hate that question, by the way. I'd probably dump Blakes. Yeah. Just because Vanderbilt doesn't have like the longest track record that the other programs that these players come from, so.
Very fair. And Aubrey Galvin too, sophomore team.
I want to give you one more that we didn't prep for. Is like, I know everybody has such high expectations for JuJu, and an ACL tear is not what it was 10 years ago, right? It's so much easier to bounce back, but can USC come back and be a legit championship, like national championship, Final Four contender this year?
I think so. I was a little surprised by their portal acquisitions, like not as big name as you might have expected, considering, 2 years ago they bring in like Kiki Iriafen and Talia von Oelhoffen, and it's like obviously a much splashier haul. I I'm just slightly concerned about what the point guard situation looks like at USC, but they have so many wings and so many capable just scorers, shot creators, defenders. Their defense is going to be truly tremendous if everything shakes out like it should. But yeah, I mean, JuJu was, I feel like the year off has sort of made people forget just what an incredible day-to-day like competitor and just insane producer that JuJu Watkins is. And then you add
when Paige Becker's got hurt.
Right. When
Everyone
Paige got hurt.
About her,
exactly.
And you're like, oh, she's the best player in college basketball. Yeah.
And like when you add in Sanaya Hall and Jazzy Davidson and like Satea Fagan and all of like the talent that USC is adding, it's like one of those things where like I don't know how it all fits together right now, but there's just so much talent that I cannot bet against it. And having seen JuJu like, you know, win a Big Ten title already and win a tournament title and get to the Elite Eight twice, where, you know, UConn is just waiting for them both times. Like if the bracket shakes out more nicely and they don't have to face UConn until a bit later, but yeah, I would say USC's got to be in that inner circle of title contenders.
I keep imagining, what if they still had Kaylee Heckle and she didn't leave USC?
Oh my gosh, right? Or Avery Howell.
You know? Yeah, Avery Howell. Speaking of Washington, we love that. And another thing we love on this program is doing our rapid fire portion of the show. So we're going to get you out of here with some fun questions off the top. Okay. And since you mentioned people forgetting just how damn good JuJu Watkins is, I have to ask you, Sabreena, is there a case to be made to have Madison Booker over JuJu Watkins as the number 1 overall pick in the next year's WNBA draft?
No.
Okay. Nice and
easy. An easy one.
This is rapid, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I love the answer now. Okay, let's see if we can get you trip you up a little bit here. Who's a player you're most looking forward to watching this year that's not on UCLA's roster?
Just like any roster in the country?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I really want to watch Liv McGill, Oklahoma State. I want to know what that looks like.
Yeah. Don't we all? Like we talked to JC Hoyt earlier this week. I don't know when that episode will drop in relation to this, but the Liv McGill, Audie Crooks experiment is going to be must-watch TV for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always a fan of the Pac-12. Obviously, Pac-12 after dark, Pac-10, go Ducks forever. But how would you rank the power conferences that are out there right now, the P4?
Okay. Probably, let's see. I'd go SEC number 1, Big Ten number 2, ACC 3, and Big 12 4.
Oh, that hurts.
Sorry.
You're not wrong. I don't think you're wrong. I just don't like it. It's fair. You covered the WNBA as well. Lord, this league cannot get out of its own way sometimes. So I would love it, but also what are we doing? What is one thing, just women's basketball as a whole, whether it's WNBA, college, whatever, what's one thing that they're doing right and how they're growing the sport? And what's one thing you wish they would do differently to continue to grow the sport?
Okay, one thing that they're doing right, I think, is they're just making the product so much more accessible, like on TV, getting college games, WNBA games, very, very easy to watch at all times. Like my dad is one of those people who just won't watch things unless they're like on network and he can like just scroll to it. And I think a lot of people are like that still. So that has made it so much easier for people to follow and just like become exposed. So I think that's great. I think one thing that is not going as well, and I think this is more of a WNBA thing, is treating itself as like a
I know
for?
what you're thinking.
Like as like a cause instead of a professional sports league, and like having to be this like source for good instead of just like, I mean, I think girls sports already is a source for good, right? Just like giving people an opportunity to play team sports is always a good thing. But like making it an entity beyond sports sort of like dilutes from all of just like, hey, like this is a great thing to just have people play team sports, contribute in athletics, and like have an opportunity to get all of the benefits that come from, being a part of these organizations. So yeah, that's one thing I would say, that we could just focus on the basketball sometimes.
Whenever you're on the road, what's your comfort item or routine that you have to keep you sane?
Great question. Do I stay sane on the road is really the number one question. Let's see. Even if I'm traveling to like the hottest places in the world, which happens a lot because I'm in Vegas and Phoenix during the summers, I have to bring a hoodie. Like I bring the same hoodie. I just need it around all the time. That is my comfort thing. And I always just try to find a good smoothie in the morning. There's this one shop in Indianapolis that I must have gone to like 6 times just because that's the one I wanted. They knew my name by day 3. So there we are.
I love that.
That's awesome. And then our last question to get you out of here. What is your favorite arena or city to visit?
Ooh, this is good. I mean, I love being in LA, obviously, but this is just because I went to school there, but I love going back to Durham and getting to visit Cameron Indoor. Yeah.
Oh, Durham is just one of my all-time favorite
Durham's great.
cities.
The triangle's so
awesome.
great. Yeah.
An all-time favorite city for an all-time favorite sports writer. Sabreena, thank you so much for joining the program. We really appreciate you taking some time out of your hectic schedule for us.
Oh man, you guys just make me feel so loved. Thank you.
Absolutely.